I just wanted to quickly talk about how many exciting releases there are coming up just in the next month, month and a half. It's insane how stacked September, I mean, we're almost done with September basically, how stacked just the end of September and October is for horror alone. I mean, there's plenty of other things coming out besides horror that I'm excited for, but fuck, horror alone. I mean, you have, Channel Zero, the sci-fi horror show, which if you're not watching that show, I've said that enough here. My God, that's my favorite shit. My most anticipated horror show, easily, because it's my favorite. And man, if you're not watching that show, you need to. That's, here on the 20th, on Wednesday. This is so close. Then the next day, on Thursday, DirecTV exclusively is releasing Leatherface, the 8th Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. This movie has went through, I've been hearing about this movie for a long time. It's directed by the guys who did Inside and Livid. I literally had been hearing this was in production and then it was finished, and then they were going to release it here, or maybe they would, and we wouldn't get a trailer. But finally, it is here this Thursday, Leatherface. Then the next day, on Friday, we get The Houses October Built Part 2. Now, I was a pretty big fan of the first one, and I think like most people, the ending of the first one was kind of bummed me out a little bit because it was lackluster. But seeing the trailer for Part 2, it starts at the very end, so I guess this movie literally starts the second the last one leaves off, and adds to that ending with a whole new movie. So this film will pretty much fix, hopefully, what problem I had with the last one. So when I saw that it was going to be like a Halloween 2, basically, it starts right there. I know it then goes later, but it does start at that moment at the end. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to, mess it up for you. Then 4 days later, Jeepers Creepers 3 is released for one night only in theaters. Now, when I will see this, and when, I will get a copy. I don't pirate or anything ever. When a VOD is going to come available, or a Blu-ray or anything, I'm very much looking forward to that. Then 3 days later, we get not only Geralds Game, the Stephen King adaptation by the amazing Mike Flanagan. If you're not familiar with Mike Flanagan's work, you should go on Google right now and find out all of his stuff. Everything he's done is just great, from Absentia to Oculus to the recent Ouija, Origin of Evil. And then he even has a film that's been unreleased. Now, that is a film I had to pirate because I do not believe Before I Wake it will eventually get released. You have the Poughkeepsie tapes finally getting a Blu-ray, and no one ever thought that would happen in a million years. It's like 10 years old now, and that might happen with Before I Wake. I don't know why it's in, whatever the fuck they're doing with it right now. I don't know why they're doing that. And then 4 days later, we get the Cult of Chucky Blu-ray. I have had that pre-ordered for a while. Huge Child's Play fan, Chucky fan. There's so many sequels and remakes coming out. It's so exciting. And Chucky, fuck, man. I've enjoyed all 6 Chuckies so far. I love that Mancini has been involved in every project, and I really enjoyed the last one. I liked that it took a more serious tone, and it looks like they'll be following into this one, because this one is a direct sequel to Curse. And if you haven't seen that one yet for some reason, you should definitely be checking it out. It's a really cool movie, and I cannot wait for this, for sure. I skipped. That's right. I see how many there are coming up. same day as Geralds Game is Flatliners, the remake with Ellen Page, or not even a remake, sorry, a sort of sequel. I know that Kiefer Sutherland's supposed to reprise his role, so it's a sequel. And I really, I really like the trailer. I think it looks really cool. I'm excited for it. I don't know why everyone's dogging on it. I mean, it's cool to hate on remakes or sequels or whatever. I think everyone thinks it's a remake, so I think that's why they're hating on it. But people hate on fucking everything. I don't give a shit. I thought the trailer was really neat, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Better Watch Out, which is a Christmas horror movie. We're getting 2 in October that I'm aware of that look awesome, which is Better Watch Out and Red's Christmas. Better Watch Out comes out on the 6th for a VOD release, and Red Christmas, same thing, VOD on October 17th. Now, something I was doing when I was researching these titles, I mean, I already knew every one of these was coming out, but I wanted to write them down so I didn't stumble over my words here. But in doing that, I didn't even I had no clue until like 20 minutes ago when I wrote this list down that they were remaking Dementia 13. Francis Ford Coppola's Dementia 13 from the 60s is getting a remake, and it comes out on October 6th in a limited release in the theater, supposedly, and then on the 10th on VOD. No clue. I guess this is being made by Chiller Films, which they've made some decent stuff. I really like their anthology, The Five Senses of Fear. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect from it. I didn't even watch the trailer. I'm really just kind of blown away that this has escaped not only my radar, but when I posted it in my private horror group that I have, no one knew either. We were all just kind of scratching our heads like, why haven't we heard of this? Now, usually that's not a good sign, but maybe it's just not being promoted. I don't know. I doubt it'll be great, but I have nothing to base that on except for the fact that they're not promoting it. So we'll see what happens with that. So, and then on Friday the 13th, October 13th, the Happy Death Day, which I think is really fun. If you haven't seen the trailer for that yet, I mean, it's basically Groundhog's Day, the horror movie, which it's a great idea. I mean, it's a slasher movie, but with the premise of Groundhog's Day. If you don't know what Groundhog's Day is, I don't know what to tell you there. So yeah, that looks fun. And then The Snowman with Michael Fassbender. I mean, basically anything with Michael Fassbender. I really like that trailer. I was going to avoid it, but it played before Mother. So I just sat and watched it, and it was exciting. It was a good one. It kind of looked like, a thriller detective kind of thing, like a Seven or something. Probably not that good. I mean, Seven is the best of the best when it comes to those. The only thing that can compare is Silence of the Lambs. So I don't expect it to be that level or anything, but it definitely looks something like this. And then on October 24th, coming to VOD, you got Creep 2. And I just adored the first Creep. Mark Duplass was, and was just fabulous in that movie. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's like a 2-person act. It's found footage. If you're opposed to found footage, fuck that. Watch this movie anyway. It's a total blast. The characters in it are great. They really bounce off of each other well. And I'm heavily looking forward. We still haven't even got a trailer for Creep 2 yet. So I'm really curious because I know originally they had planned it as a trilogy and they wanted for it to be completely disconnected from each other. So each one was going to have nothing to do with the other ones. And I know that Mark Duplass is coming back for this one. But I do not know if they changed their mind and he's reprising his character from the first one. I won't be surprised either way. I'm kind of leaning towards that he is going to play the character he did in the last one because I don't think that they expected not only the movie to be so well received, but his performance in that character to be. But as I said, I'm not going to be surprised at all if they do stick to their original word and end up doing a completely different film. And then October 27th, and say what the fuck you will, I don't give a shit, The Saw franchise is probably my favorite horror franchise as far as like the consistency of a long-standing series in horror. I'm not going to say that any of the Saws are my favorite movies over any other series. Like, it's not saying that like Halloween isn't. Saw as a franchise from 1 to 7, to me, beats any horror franchise out there that's tried to run that long. 5, 6, 7 movies. I don't know any franchise that can touch it in my eyes. I really enjoy and or love every one of the first 7 Saws. And I was very bummed when they ended. But it felt okay. You know, the final chapter, which, horror, fuck, every one of them's had a final movie from, The Omen to Friday the 13th had 2. Shit, I don't know how many they're going to have. Fucking final chapter, final Friday. You see final tacked onto a horror movie, you can just ignore that outright. So yeah, when they announced there, I had a feeling Saw was going to get another one, but I was fearful it was going to be a remake or something like that. But to know that this is a direct sequel, and that Marcus Dunson and Patrick Melton, who had wrote 4 through 7, worked very heavily with the writers of this new one, Jigsaw, and on Piranha and stuff like that. They worked together, so I feel like they will have a good meshing, and maybe they consulted with Marcus and Patrick on notes and called them up and were like, hey, does this fit your continuity? Like, they had the ability to contact with each other because they have a close-knit working relationship from the previous films. So I really like the Spear brothers who are directing it, because I absolutely adore their movie Undead, and I really enjoy Predestination. Daybreakers I wasn't crazy about, but I do want to give that movie a shot at some point. And then you have on October 20th, Netflix, yet another Stephen King adaptation by the director of These Final Hours, which was a fantastic film. If you haven't seen that, it's on Netflix. I highly, highly recommend it. Is an adaptation of one of his shorter stories called 1922, starring Thomas Jane. Heavily looking forward to that project as well. That's why I wrote all these down. I'm obviously really looking forward to every one of them. And I definitely will be reviewing every one of these on my channel, no doubt about it. But I'm looking forward to that one. We still haven't got a trailer, but that's typical of Netflix. They usually don't release a movie trailer or anything until like 3 weeks before they come out. Geralds Game just got a trailer a week ago. And then finally, the one everyone's probably well aware of and is excited for, just like I am, on October 27th on Netflix as well, we have the 2nd season of Stranger Things. We also have The Walking Dead starting in October, late October, like somewhere around there too. So I love The Walking Dead. I watch it every season. I hate how everyone bitches about it. It's a fun zombie show. It's got, shut up. We're lucky to have stuff like that on television. Please go back to your fucking Airwolf days. Go back to the days where we had Knight Rider and stuff. Like, they might be fun and nostalgic type films or shows, but come on, man. We have incredible television these days, and Walking Dead is one of those incredible shows. We're lucky to have it. I'm heavily looking forward to season 8 and every other damn thing I mentioned. If there's anything I missed, I can only imagine there's plenty of other stuff coming out, but those were just the ones that popped up, and I was like, yeah, fuck yes, Leatherface, Chucky. We're getting so many cool, and we just got It, which was amazing. What a wonderful time to be alive. So anyway, yeah, remind me if there's anything coming up. I'd love to know what else everyone else is looking forward to. So let me know.